Resource or curse? Welcome to Business 7. In this program, we will be looking at oil and natural resources and the chance of it being a curse rather than a blessing. We've caught up with economist Simone Storm, economist Theo Klein in Cape Town to share his views on the matter. But first, he's going to explain to us what exactly a resource curse is. What exactly is this oil curse that people talk about?
Well, the resource curse in general, Jeremy, is just that a country that has plenty of natural resources, who should therefore also then be a very rich or wealthy nation, is actually not. It's a country with plenty of resources that might actually be, that we see weaker economic growth than other countries with less natural resources. We might see them having worse democracies than countries with less resources. And we might also see that they just have weaker development outcomes as opposed to countries that have less resources. And that's mainly because there's not effective and proper management of the revenues from the country's natural resources, where resources would typically go towards enriching the politically elite and not provide benefits or broad-based benefits for the nation. So, I mean, it's basically corruption with the revenues from natural resources. And then you sit in a weird situation or a phenomenon where this country with plenty of natural resources is actually poorer than a country that does not have so much resources. And it should obviously be, no, naturally it should be the other way around. So that's sort of what we see as the resource curse. And especially with oil, Jo Marie, we know that oil can be both a good or a bad thing. If we look at the global scene, when we did our case study exercise, we saw that typically your African oil producers are a lot poorer and have weaker economic outcomes than oil producers in Western countries, such as Norway, Canada, the US, and so forth. So that's why I think, or say that oil can be both a blessing or a curse.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Should Namibia's oil aspirations materialize, we can become the third largest oil producer in Africa. That is according to Wood Mackenzie, an international consultant firm. Now that we know what a resource curse is, how vulnerable is Namibia to falling prey?
Jo Marie, we've compared Namibia to other African countries who are currently oil producers. And we've looked at some of the measures that we looked at were not available at the time when these African countries started commercially producing oil. But so we just sort of looked at where we are at the moment. And the interesting thing from that case study was that Namibia ranks a whole lot better, if not the best, when compared to other African countries who are oil producers at the moment. And we've looked at corruption index scores. We've looked at overall governance index scores. We've looked at human development index scores. The human development index just sort of measures the average standard of living in a country. Can they live a long and healthy life? And what does their education look like, amongst other things? And then we've also looked at, so all those, and we've also looked at economic freedom, the freedom of movement of capital and people, and property rights and so forth. And it was interesting to see that Namibia either ranks very high or actually the best compared to oil producing African countries. So that tells me that we have a lot stronger governance structures. Our legal system is better than theirs. So I think, and so we also saw that our freedom of speech in the media is a lot better than some of those other countries. So if we look at some of those indicators, then it tells me that Namibia might be in a better position to keep its government accountable, to have enhanced transparency with regards to the oil revenues and the allocation of these revenues. In other words, where are they being spent? And in that way, hopefully, Jo Marie, we could probably avoid the resource curse. I think another positive for Namibia is the fact that our government has established a sovereign wealth fund way in advance, before any kind of oil or even green hydrogen revenues are being earned. And what we've seen is that in countries such as Norway, they typically refer to their national or their sovereign wealth fund as a tool used to provide transparency on oil revenues and where they are allocated. And in this way, the nation can keep the government accountable. So I think we have very capable people managing the sovereign wealth fund at Bank of Namibia. I think government has already said that they will allocate a portion of oil revenues if it materializes to the Welwitschia Fund, which I think is definitely also positive. And so I think these are some of the indicators that we've looked at to say Namibia ranks fairly favorably when looking at other African oil producers. So, but I mean, yeah, the actual experience remains to be seen, Jo Marie, but based on the information we have at the moment, it does seem that, we can be cautiously optimistic to say that Namibia could avoid the resource curse. I think one of the things we will need to still address, Jo Marie, which I think could be a big risk for us, is that in the past, we've seen media enjoys freedom of speech to a great extent, and media has exposed certain things in government, corruption deals and scandals and so forth, but we do not see civil society then also keeping government accountable. So your media might be fairly strong in exposing these things, but then your civil society doesn't take it further. We do not see, for example, various groups in society mobilizing themselves or forming one group, so that there are a few people who have one voice for a certain group in a society to raise concerns with government. And there I'm also especially thinking about the youth. The youth have a very high level of unemployment amongst themselves, probably very high levels of frustration with where the country is going, but we still do not see them forming a group or an association or some sort to represent the voice of the group or of the youth overall. So I think we will need to see, civil society really also holding government accountable, to say that, we demand transparency of oil revenues and their allocations and the flows of the Welwitschia Fund and so forth. That's at least the experience from Norway that we've taken to see that is what's needed to prevent the resource curse from taking place, especially with regards to oil.
A few weeks ago, I would never do this on a Saturday morning. Back then, I was standing in line all day. Now it's just like that.
You are using the FNB banking app like I told you.
Girl, it saved my weekend. Now I can do all my banking on this.
Payments, transfers, checking statements.
Even opening accounts. Just like that. Oh, did I tell you what my husband did?
Even me, I want to save time with what's the name of the app?
FNB app.
Don't be left behind. Make the switch to the FNB app, online banking or cell phone banking, and change the way you bank to change your life. FNB, how can we help you?
Once again, we join Theo Klein, the economist at Simone Storm, to share his opinion on what the country and government have to do to make sure that Namibia doesn't become a victim of the resource curse.
I think one positive from pursuing a commercial business in oil in Namibia, Germany, is that we could see structural reforms or reforms with regards to public administration efficiency taking place. And that will then not just benefit the obviously the oil companies who are going to be drilling oil and exporting it from Namibia, but that could also lead to benefits for not just Namibian businesses who operate within the country, but also for foreigners who want to come to Namibia and set up businesses in other sectors. So what do I mean with structural reform or policy reform? It's that we need to improve the ease of doing business in Namibia. We need to be more welcoming to foreigners. We need to issue working permits to foreigners more easily. We need to help them register their businesses a whole lot faster, and so forth. And we need policy uncertainty to be removed, because the fact that we do not know whether the economic empowerment bill, the NEOP policy, will be implemented or not. We also have the investment promotion bill, for example. That uncertainty of whether those policies will be enacted or enforced or not, that weighs on business sentiment in Namibia. And obviously, if business sentiment is negative, they're not going to invest in new businesses or to expand existing businesses because of that policy uncertainty. They don't know what the future would look like. And then that's not just for Namibian businesses, but also for foreigners. So I think the potential revenues that government could generate from oil, I think an average of consensus views is about $5 billion per annum, which is a considerable amount of money. I think that those potential revenues might incentivize government to be more proactive in really trying to improve the ease of doing business in Namibia. Because obviously those foreign companies are not going to start commercial operations in Namibia with oil if they don't feel welcome and if they cannot do business very easily. So I think government will be enticed by the potential revenues and hopefully be more proactive in doing what economists have been telling them to do for many years. And then, like I said, Germany, that will then improve the ease of doing business in other sectors as well, not just oil. So I think we have seen a lot of interest from foreigners in the past who want to set up factories to produce all sorts of goods in Namibia in the past. But obviously they found Namibia unattractive when they actually come here and see how the conditions of the business environment. So if we can get that right and allow foreigners to come and set up factories in other industries, then I think we can avoid being over-reliant or over-dependent on oil. And then in that way, maybe also avoid the resource curse. We are in a decarbonizing world, Germany, where a lot of governments have pledged to be carbon neutral within the next 30 to 40 years. So I think Namibia also does not have a lot of time. We will have to move fairly quickly. I think Africa is likely to lag the rest of the world in terms of being carbon neutral. I do not see all of us driving electric cars and having solar panels on our roofs anytime soon, Germany. So I think in Africa at least, we will still have a market to sell our oil. But I still think, just in general, we will have to move fairly quickly on oil. And in that way, maybe we also do not enjoy oil revenues for very long. And in that way, maybe we could also avoid the resource curse. I don't know what the next 40, 50 years will look like. I think what is concerning is that in the past, we are still fairly reliant on the primary sector, Germany, especially the mining sector, with regards to our exports. But like I said, if we can improve the ease of doing, if we do structural reforms, it can lead to other industries being becoming developed and being more advanced. So I think in that way, we could probably avoid the resource curse.
Every day, You make choices that make you legendary. Journey together with us on the path to securing your legacy as a member of the League of Legends. With the Select Platinum Bundle Fee Premium Bank offering, you will access tools that will enable you to thrive. If you earn 850,000 Namibian dollars per annum or more, you can apply for this offering today via bankventug.com.na for only 447 Namibian dollars per month. Bank Ventug, a member of Capricorn Group.
The International Monetary Fund has just released its global economic outlook. We're going to bring that to you as we say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
While Namibia and its cities are seen as one of the cleanest countries in Africa, plastic pollution is a big problem. Therefore, it's up to each of us to do what we can to reduce the use of plastic, especially single-use plastic bags. At Liberty Life Namibia, we've taken the decision to turn all our old branding items into reusable shopping bags. It's a way in which we can drive sustainability and look after our most important stakeholder, our environment. If you also believe in sustainability and would like more information, please get in touch. Liberty Life Namibia. In it with you.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. We crunch the numbers that matter, decipher statistics that shape Namibian lives, discuss smart money, and explore the impact of global developments locally. Money makes the world go round, so catch us on NTV, oneup2.com, and the Facebook platforms of Namibian Sun, Republikane, Algemeine Zeitung, and Namibia Media Holdings. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact B7 at synergy.com.na.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
You know, a few weeks ago, I would never do this on a Saturday morning. Back then, I was standing in line all day. Now it's just like that.
You are using the FNB banking app like I told you.
Girl, it saved my weekend. Now I can do all my banking on this.
Payments, transfers, checking statements.
Even opening accounts. Just like that. Oh, did I tell you what my husband did?
Even me, I want to save time with the, what's the name of the app?
FNB app.
Don't be left behind. Make the switch to the FNB app, online banking or cell phone banking, and change the way you bank to change your life. FNB, how can we help you?
Every day, you make choices that make you legendary. Journey together with us on the path to securing your legacy as a member of the League of Legends. With the Select Platinum Bundle Fee Premium Bank offering, you will access tools that will enable you to thrive. If you earn 850,000 Namibian dollars per annum or more, you can apply for this offering today via bankvinted.com.na for only 447 Namibian dollars per month. Bank Vinted, a member of Capricorn Group.
While Namibia and its cities are seen as one of the cleanest countries in Africa, plastic pollution is a big problem. Therefore, it's up to each of us to do what we can to reduce the use of plastic, especially single-use plastic bags. At Liberty Life Namibia, we've taken the decision to turn all our old branding items into reusable shopping bags. It's a way in which we can drive sustainability and look after our most important stakeholder, our environment. If you also believe in sustainability and would like more information, please get in touch. Liberty Life Namibia. In it with you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.